Denver's homicide total this year is either on a terrifying skyrocket into chaos and murder, or it's a slight statistical uptick that should be cause for interest and concern, but not panic. We will give you the numbers and you can decide. Just like you can decide whether it's the job of the TV news to use math to scare the bejesus out of people or to provide accurate context. Denver police will be the first to say that one homicide in this city is too many. And everybody wants the number each year to go down and not up. And there's enough worry about Denver's 27 homicides to date this year versus 17 this time last year that public safety leaders addressed reporters today. Whether those numbers, 27 versus 17, are cause for concern or panic depends on your understanding of math. Presenting those numbers as a percentage increase is scary. It's a big jump. But any good statistician will tell you, you shouldn't talk percentages with a sample size that small.
From year to year, you can't really get a good trend analysis. There's going to be just anomalies in years. If you look at the overall data, homicides are down from the early 2000s, which is basically we've seen overall nationwide from the late 1990s, early 2000s. We've been on a decrease for crime. And so when we have a little bit of an uptick, people tend to wonder what's going on, but it doesn't necessarily mean that crime is going to keep rising.
Andrea Borrego, that criminologist, says it is awfully difficult to figure out causation with a statistically small uptick like this. The director of public safety in Denver offered his theory today. He says that police are noticing that more arguments seem to be ending in gunfire. 21 of the 27 people killed so far this year were shot. I believe it was Abraham Lincoln who once said, "You can't believe everything you read on the internet." That's funny. What isn't funny is a police department in Colorado sending out scary crime alerts that are just copied and pasted out of old chain emails. You should expect more of law enforcement than you do from your wacky uncle who sends you "Obama is a Muslim" emails. But Broomfield police defended their all-caps warning that was actually just a chain email from 2008.
Beware of strangers bringing unordered gifts. I apologize for yelling, but the Facebook post from Broomfield Police begins in all caps. What follows is word for word a chain email that the myth-busting site Snopes says has been circulating for a decade. A warning about an unexpected delivery man asking to swipe a credit card for a small charge. If Broomfield PD is looking for new detectives, they will find them in the comments. Andy posted, "This email's been circulating on the internet for around 10 years. Missy, not sure why a police department wouldn't check sources on this one." Brian wrote, "Shame on the police for sending out unverified reports." Beatrice just laughed. "I hope you have your best detectives on this one." And Joel posted, "I think that a police department should verify scare stories before they share them." But the citizens who saw through this were vastly outnumbered by the 2,500 people who just clicked share, further spreading the chain email, with Broomfield police imploring them, "Please, pass this on."
When challenged on Facebook, Broomfield police defended the post, saying that it originally came from the Denver District Attorney's Office. And that's true. The DA's office tells me that somebody there fell for the hoax email and sent it out to some other law enforcement. They promise to be a lot more cautious in the future. When I asked Broomfield police if they bothered to check it out themselves, a spokeswoman offered conflicting explanations but insisted they did nothing wrong. After learning we'd be talking about it on Next, Broomfield police called back to say in the future they will also check facts before posting. Teachers in Pueblo have rejected a last-ditch offer from the school district ahead of their strike on Monday. The deal offered up a 2% raise. That's what they had requested, but their benefits are another sticking point. 1,000 teachers are set to strike. That is the only current or looming teachers' strike in the state of Colorado. Gabe Condi, who left this country to fight for it abroad, is now back home. His body arrived back in the States today. The 22-year-old from Berthoud was killed in Afghanistan on Monday during his first combat tour. A dignified transfer of his casket happened at Dover Air Force Base. A similar ceremony happened when he left Afghanistan. We believe that his casket is now on its way back to Colorado. Specialist Condi ran track and cross country at Berthoud High and then went on to the Colorado School of Mines for a year before he enlisted in the Army in 2015. The Denver Post editor who led that newspaper's open rebellion against its hedge fund owner is now gone. Chuck Plunkett has resigned, according to colleagues. Plunkett called out Alden Global Capital for cutting the Post newsroom to the bone while that paper is still profitable. Plunkett led the call for the Post to be sold to local owners who would see its value. Plunkett is now the second editorial page editor to go after the Boulder Daily Camera's Dave Krieger, who was fired when he also challenged the hedge fund owner in print. When the rain starts to fall, everybody's a highway expert. We heard from so many of you last night about better ways for CDOT to show us the lane lines in bad weather. Our Marshall Zellinger took those ideas to the folks in charge, who promptly told us why they won't work. Marshall.
And I took some of their samples to show why they think this is the best we have. This is tape. This is what separates lanes on I-25, and this is what CDOT paints on the side. Grady, if you can hit the lights, this is what CDOT says, given our conditions, is the best reflection to keep you in the right lane and to keep you from hitting a barrier. What looks and sounds like loads of salt or Dippin' Dots is really crushed glass.
They're bigger beads. So with bigger beads, more light's able to come in, more light's able to come out.
Shane Chevalier is CDOT's resident road marking expert.
Here we have your preformed tape.
He showed us what CDOT uses to stripe the roads and why.
There is channels within the product for water to travel.
Like the road tape that costs $30 for each stripe. Compare that to the LED lights on I-70 in the mountains that cost $250 each.
This will make it 6 to 8 years on an I-25.
After our story yesterday, a lot of you emailed us ideas from states that you think do a better job. Ralph suggested angled reflectors on top of the road, like this photo that the Texas Department of Transportation shared with me.
Anything mounted to the surface, it just doesn't hold up to steel carbide. Your plows are steel carbide.
David wanted to know about reflectors dug into the road similar to these that could survive a snowplow.
It's steel, so it can withstand the hits. But what happens, right, the freeze thaw cracking, and if it pops out, now you got a 7-pound, I believe, projectile possibly going into somebody's windshield.
Scott and Bruce suggested checking with the state of Washington, which told me there is no magic bullet fix. And Kathy had me check with Vermont. It turns out the state, in existence since 1791, uses similar methods like Colorado.
This is by far the best we can do with the constraints of our budget that we have.
There it is again, the constraints of a CDOT budget. How much do you think this actually costs to put on the roads, Kyle? I'll tell you. In the metro area, road paint like this is $7 million a year. Statewide, CDOT spends about $25 million. An expensive proposition for what seems pretty simple.
That is a big chunk of the CDOT budget. All right, very interesting. I know people are fascinated by this, Marshall. We saw it in the emails last night. Thank you, sir. Supporters of a red flag bill that's before the Colorado legislature delayed a vote today on their bill that would allow a judge to take guns away from somebody who's having a mental health crisis. We've told you that bill faces tough sledding in the Republican-controlled Senate, and there's also the issue of time. With less than a week left in the session, they may not be able to stomach another delay. State legislators heard testimony for and against a bill this afternoon which would seal the autopsies of children in Colorado. We talked about that here last night and why I think that the bill would interfere with reporting that saves lives, like our Failed to Death series, which used child autopsy reports to explain how kids were falling through the cracks of our social services system. If you'd like to see that commentary, it's on the next Facebook page. Our investigative team was at the Capitol testifying against the bill today. My invitation stands for the bill's sponsor to come on here and to make his case directly to you. If you have not made a decision about the governor's race, there are a lot of people in the same boat, so we're bringing back the old segment, Let's Just Talk, for a civil conversation about the issues. So picture election speed dating, you and the candidates. We're looking for a group of unaffiliated voters who can get free next Friday to join us. You'll have 5 minutes with each of the candidates. Just go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. You can talk to them, they can talk to you. We'll sit there, we'll watch it, we'll film it for TV so other people can see candid conversations about the issues that really matter to real people. If you want in on this, email me, next@9news.com. All I ask is that you give me one sentence about yourself and one sentence about something that you would like to talk to the candidates about. The city of Denver broke ground on 91 affordable apartments in the Globeville neighborhood today. And listen, 91 is better than 0. But for some perspective, here are percentages, because in this case, the sample size is large enough for them actually to mean something.
If those 91 affordable apartments are filled with some of the 3,000 people who are on Denver's streets on any given night, that solves 3% of that problem. If the 91 affordable units go to Denver's lowest income earners, some of the 26,000 of our neighbors who earn less than $18,000 a year, well, then that would solve 0.35% of that problem. And if you consider 91 affordable apartments versus the 103,000 homeowners and renters who can't afford where they live, meaning they pay more than 30% of their income for rent or mortgage, well, then those 91 units represent a solution for 0.09% of the problem. We will take 91 more, but they'll help about as much as a hand towel in a hurricane. A homeowner in Denver is under aerial assault from a high school baseball field. Steve Steger went to find out if that means the team is really good or really bad. And I hate to break it to you, but your dog doesn't write you those letters from Doggy Daycare about all the fun he's had. That's actually some person's job, and we'll meet her next.
Wonderful spring storm, a super soaker, and now it's out of here just in time for the weekend. We're watching the rain and snow showers diminish from north to south, the severe weather threat growing off to the east of our forecast area. And it was a cool day today. Temperatures will be trending in the other direction for Friday and for the weekend. And the sunshine comes back with a wind shift. We're looking at temperatures close to 80 degrees. The low migrates east, high pressure sets up, storm track to the north, and that means a chilly night tonight as skies clear from north to south. Tomorrow, a little return flow in the southern mountains, so a slight chance of a shower down that way, but generally just a beautiful day. Excellent in the city and up in the high country, anywhere you want to go. No travel issues expected. Showers ending, clearing, cooler, low 39. Tomorrow, sunshine when you wake up, a high of 70, almost 10 degrees warmer on Saturday. Weak front brings a slight chance of a storm Sunday. Very scurry over the weekend, Cinco de Mayo and the Kentucky Derby. I think the Kentucky Derby, they'll be looking at rain there, and we might see a return of more rain by the middle of next week.
All right, if people like my jackets, they should see my derby pants. Ever drive by a golf course and wonder who pays for the damage from errant golf balls? Perhaps a homeowner in Green Valley Ranch pondered that before baseballs started slamming into his stuff. Here's Steve Steger.
When you hear that baseballs from a high school field dinged up a car and battered a garage door at the neighbor's house, you might think what we did. Wow, that team must be hitting the long ball. Then you look at the assumed trajectory of those baseballs and realize this team may not be having a great season.
I don't know. Maybe they had a greasy bat.
Yep, the baseballs that hit Ed Svirkovsky's yard came in foul over the backstop foul. He's lived here for 2 years, and he says it's never been a problem before until this season.
During a baseball game, we had several balls, probably close to 15, fly over, foul, into the yard. One hit the house, another one hit my car, another one hit me.
So Ed did what anyone would likely do. He went straight to the source.
I talked to the school and pretty much was sent on a wild goose chase.
The school's insurance company told him there's nothing the school could do.
Basically told me the school's not liable.
They are citing governmental immunity, a law that essentially bars people from suing government entities like a school district over issues like this. So for now, Ed's stuck with a bill.
As far as the garage door, I got an estimate on that. It's about $400 to take the dents out and repaint it. On the car, well over $1,600.
He wants help with that, or at least he's hoping the team will get the bats working again. For Next, I'm Steve Steger.
All right, so which came first, the school or the house? It's the house. It's older by a year. DPS tells us they will look at whether they can make that backstop more backstoppy.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Okay, today was a super cool day at Bark.
That's your dog talking, thanks to the woman whose job it is to pen their letters home from Doggy Daycare. Wait a second. That is either a parking spot or it is a place for a fire hydrant. It can't be both, right? Next is moving stuff around in this city again. And it's about time that high school seniors whose biggest muscle is their brain get their own college signing day. That's next.
We hear you're fascinated by odd jobs. That's why we started our series, That's a Job? Tonight, a trip to doggy daycare, not to pick up after the dogs, to pick up a pen and to write home to mom and dad. That's a job. And we get a look through the lens of photojournalist Mike Grady.
Bark Doggy Daycare, this is Bailey. How can I help you? We not only pay attention to the dogs and try to follow what they want, but we also acknowledge that, like, these are people's kids, you know? Like, my dog is my kid. I would want to know how he's doing. Finn Doodle, one of my favorite dogs. He is the sweetest, most cuddly. Oh my gosh, I could go on forever about how much I love Finn. I am typing up Finn's puppy postcard, a little blurb from the dog's perspective. We call them puppy postcards. It's pretty adorable if you ask me. Around mid-morning, my friend Tully got here. I was incredibly excited about that. I've always had a drive for like poetry and stuff, and so it's really cool to find a job that not only do I get to work with dogs, but I also get to like incorporate my creativity as well. Hi, Mom and Dad. Okay, today was a super, super cool day at Bark. Around mid-morning, my friend Tully got here, and I was so excited about that, and as soon as he got into a group with me, we started wrestling. Then I got tired out pretty quick. The next dogs that we're gonna do the puppy postcard for are Duke and Sailor. They're siblings, and so what I like to do for siblings is kind of like banter back and forth. And although we started off with the same energy, Sailor couldn't last as long as me, so I had to find some other playmates. Hey, Mom, it's Sailor. Duke is totally lying. I was not jealous of him playing with other dogs. Yeah, it's satisfying. I enjoy it. I enjoy putting words together in a really interesting format. Thank you for bringing us here. Love, Duke and Sailor. Thank you for making it all possible. Love, Finn.
So we thought it would be cool if camera guy Mike Grady had his own postcard home today, but he does most of the work around here anyway, so he had to do that too.
Hey Next viewers, shooting dog stories is wicked fun, but it's tougher than it looks. You know, just when you think you have that perfect shot, boom, dog in the frame.
Glasgow.
And it can be tough to focus while editing all this adorable dog footage, but still, more than happy to go through all the licking, sniffing, and slobbering to bring you a story. Catch you later, Nexters, from camera guy Mike Grady.
The man behind the lens, you finally met him. The day that Next goes off the air, they're going to say, I don't know, the guy shouted about government accountability a lot and he wore stupid jackets. But man, he got things done. Like this inadvertent fire hydrant parking meter combo on 18th between Wawata and Chestnut and Lodo. Next viewer Jeff Peterson knew this wasn't right, sent it to us. We sent it to Denver Public Works. And yeah, you're right. Who in the world puts this in and goes, yeah, that works? Denver Public Works says the meter's going to go. You're welcome, everybody. Our ongoing search for the smartest kid in Colorado took us to a pep rally. Next. Our ongoing search for the smartest kid in Colorado turned up a coliseum full today. Strive Prep Charter Network in Denver throws a senior signing day for academic achievement, just like so many schools have signing ceremonies for sports stars. Every single kid gets to get up on stage and say where they're going to college.
My name is Brian Parker, and this fall I'll be telling CSU Bulldogs!
It's so stinking cool. Strive Prep is 97% students of color, 91% low income, yet Strive Prep says 95% of the senior class is going to four-year colleges. I so love that. Terry writes in, thanks for leading the news with a story about interpreting crime statistics based on a small sample size. You're getting over your math is hard trope and treating viewers as intelligent adults. Keep it up. Will do, Terry. Got a stack of comments tonight about how boring my jacket is. Can you not see? It's purple with a black check. Does it help when I get closer? That doesn't help. That actually doesn't help. I'm sorry. I'll see you next time.